So welcome everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today in this session about Introduction to Publishing in Academic Journal, Part 1. We will have Part 2 next week, inshallah. And let me first introduce myself. My name is Anas Obeid. I'm responsible for all training and consultation activities in Middle East, Africa, and Pakistan. I'm based in Dubai. This is my email address and my phone number. Please feel free to reach me or reach my colleague Rashid, who's our local agent in Pakistan, for anything you need to know about ProQuest, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions, to provide the guidance, to provide the necessary information and help and support that you might need. In today's session, inshallah, we'll be covering the following. The objective of today's session is to give you some kind of information, some kind of basic standard rules on how to start your publishing career. What are the necessary information that you need to know and you need to be equipped with in order, inshallah, to succeed in this journey? We will be speaking about the journal workflow publication. We'll be speaking about the peer-reviewed, the open access, what are the predatory journals, how we can really just like avoid the predatory journals, and how ProQuest can help you and support you in your publishing journey. Those, inshallah, my session's objective. And as I mentioned, after finishing the presentation, we will have a lot of time just like to speak and to have some kind of discussion, questions, answers, etc. So 5 tips for getting published. Before talking about those tips, I just would like to introduce something to you, which is something where like really was like somehow well known in the publishing industry, something called publish or peerish. So what is publish or peerish? This is a phrase was really introduced recently. It will show you that you as people in the academic field, you are under a lot of pressure that you really need to just go and you need to publish and keep publishing despite if the publication is really good or bad. Why? Because there is like a lot of pressure on you from your management, from your university, from the community to keep just publishing. And this is really wrong. When we publish, we need to make sure that we are adding something new. We are really helping and we are trying our best to increase and to somehow to help people become very best. You know, we need you to just like focus on that you need to publish to improve your research skills. You need to publish to upgrade your knowledge. You need to publish for the community, for the academic community to recognize your research. You need to publish to connect with the professors, professionals, researchers from all over the world, because you really need to give something to the community that you are part of. And as you know, publishing is part of the career growth. And this is very important. We don't need to forget that when I keep publishing, when I publish a lot, I will be recognized. I will be also help become more somehow professional, more advanced in my career, which is really great. And of course, publishing is a way to keep us alive as researchers. So we need to really start thinking about the quality, not the quantity of our publishing. So this was just like a quick thing before I start the 5 tips. So 5 tips for getting published. Those are the things that you really need to know in order to succeed, in order to manage your publication. First of all, I need to know my field. Of course, this is very, very important, right? And I need to pick the right journal. Picking the right journal and giving your manuscript to the right journal is very, very important, because if you publish in a very weak or bad journal, this will destroy your reputation. So it is very important. Write well. We need to write our paper in a right way, in a good way, in a way that people will understand it. It will be very easy, straightforward. You need to follow the submission rules. When you publish, when you send your manuscript or research paper to any journal, you need to follow their guidelines. This is very important. And also you need to accept the feedback and revise accordingly, because in most cases, more than 90% of the papers published or sent to journals, they will get some kind of notes and comments. So you really need to accept those notes, those feedback and revise and change your paper according to those notes. In today's session, I will focus on the first two, which is know your field and pick the right journal. In our part two, I will continue by talking about how to write well, how to follow the submission rules, and how to accept feedback and revise. Okay, so know your field. So as you know, that writing your paper and publishing your research is something very, very, very great. It is a great message. It is like a holy message that you carry. So you are helping the world to become much better. So you need to ask yourself always, what is the contribution I want to make? Who will benefit from my research paper? What I will add to the research community and to the academic community? This is very, very important. Also, it is very bad to start like not knowing anyone or anybody inside the journal community or the editorial board of the journal that you are publishing with. It is not like knowing them personally, but at least you know, you need to know them, how their style is, what are the things that they focus on, because you need to make sure that your paper in a similar kind of level and they will accept it. This is also important. Some of the things that you can think about, especially in your early stages to publishing, is book reviews. Book reviews is basically I'm writing a review on a book that I read. This is very easy. It will not ask you for a lot of efforts. It's something easy. It is like a first step, a practice. Plus, you will get, like in most cases, a free copy of the book that you are reviewing. And you need to you need to read a lot of journals in your field in order to gather all the information and to have the full picture. This is very important. And this is actually part of any research, any writing process, that you need to start reading a lot of journals. From our side, from ProQuest side, if you already attended one of my previous sessions, you will know that you have some collections from us and you have access to ProQuest platform. In ProQuest platform, as you know, we keep adding content almost every day. So basically, in order for you to keep and to stay up to date with everything we're published in your field, you can create alerts and you can create RSS feeds to keep you updated. This is very important. And this is a way that we can help and support you. And also we have a database called Pivot. Pivot is a huge database for all the requests for papers and also all the researchers from all over the world. So basically you can just go there, you can check for collaboration, and you can see where I can really go and publish and somehow send my paper to. So those are the things that we can help you with from ProQuest side. Okay. So part of your knowing your field, you really need to start by defining your topic. This is the first step, right? You need to think that a topic refers to a subject area. So maybe it is somehow a problem that I'm trying to solve, a controversy, or it's something like interest or an issue like mobile phones and teenagers, you know, something like this that you would like to really take it, study it, and provide your feedback on. Your goal as a researcher is really to find a gap in the research, you know? So you didn't need to write something that everyone agreed that this is the answer to this question. So, or you need to write something with nobody talked about it at all. There is no resources to support you and help you. You need to take really something that it is not a definite answer for a problem. So I can just like contribute, I can add my notes, I can add my contribution. So this is how you can really start looking into things to define your topic and to define your research. After you define your topic, now it is the time to collect the information that you need, the resources, the background information. So it is very important to go and check for like journals, for books, etc. And it is highly recommended to go and ask your librarians, because basically in your university, you have a library. And the part of librarian's job is to guide you, to tell you that from where to get the resources for your research. You can go to the print collection, you can go to the electronic collection, etc. So it's very, very important to go and ask your librarians, your colleagues, when we are talking about how to start and from where to get the information you need. So this is just an example of how you can create an alert using ProQuest platform. And as I told you, if you already joined me in one of my previous sessions, you'll know that. But as just a reminder, when you go and you do your research on ProQuest platform, there is an option to create alert. By creating alert, you can just like telling the system that please just give me an email every week, every day, every month, every couple of months with everything new added to ProQuest platform. And by this, you'll be like up to date with all the research, all the papers published in your field, and you can get the benefit out of them to improve your research. And hopefully this will be reflected in your research paper as well. This is from the ProQuest side. And as I told you, we have this Pivot database. Pivot is actually available for HEC only, for HEC management, but it's a database where it will give you a lot of information about where to publish, because sometimes there will be like some conferences all over the world and they are asking for papers to be submitted to them. So I can take it from there. And also it will give me some kind of information about millions of researchers from all over the world. So I can see who have similar interest and I can contact them to start our working together. So this is how we can help you as ProQuest. Now let's go to the second part or point, which is pick the right journal. So picking the right journal is very important because you need to make sure that when you send your manuscript, your research paper to a journal, it is really your chances to get accepted is high. So things to keep in mind, that when you do your research, of course, you will read a lot of references, a lot of journals, right? Just see where my most references lie on. So basically, they are part of Journal X, Journal Y, Journal Z. So I can speak to those journals and start communicating with them and sending my papers to them. Also, it is very important that you need to check the journal itself to read what are the things, what are the scope of this journal in order to publish or to send my paper with them. Also, you need to put on your side that, especially when you are in the first stage of publishing, you should not go to the, to the high-ranked journal or the biggest journal in our field. Everyone would like to publish on those journals, right? But especially in the beginning, you need to make sure that your level of paper or research is similar to their level. So it is very important because unfortunately, those big names, your chance to get rejected is high. So let's start with good ones, normal ones. Then inshallah, when we have a lot of papers, then we can move to the best, to the highest, to the biggest journals in our field. Some of the things that will help you check the right journal is there's like some free tools like SciMago, Journal and Country Rank. This is a database, a free database from Elsevier. They have some kind of information about the best journals, a lot of journals in their fields. So I can just go to scimago.com and I can find what are the journals in the economics field or in the management or in the engineering. So I can rely on this database, free database. And also you can use Google Scholar metrics because Google Scholar will give you the top 100 journals in every field. So basically I can check those journals, I can study them, I can see which one is best for me, similar scope, similar kind of information. So I can target them and I can go and submit my paper to them. This is in general some information on how to pick the right journal. From our side as ProQuest, what you can do is basically you can do advanced search or publication search and select that I need a subject like medicine, for example, and I can check what are the scholarly journals in medicine. So we'll give you the top journals and a lot of names and recommendations. So basically you can take it from there and you can speak to the journals. Also, we have a database. It is not available for you, but this is just for information. It's called OryxWeb. OryxWeb's, it has thousands of periodicals from all over the world. It has the information about it, place of publication, the contact details, the subject field, etc. So it will help you also check with your preferred journals to start speaking with them. So this is in general about picking the right journal. Some of the things you need and some of the factors which you need to consider when picking the right journal are those factors. For example, the first one is aims and scope. You need to make sure that this journal is within, similar to what I'm publishing, what I'm writing. So this is very important. Readership level. you need also to make sure that your work is on a similar level of the readership, because some work will be good for the research community, some will be good for students, some will be good for faculty, etc. So you need to just make sure that your work is on the similar readership of that journal that you are trying to publish with. Indexing. If you need really like your Pakistani people, for example, I'm focusing on Pakistan and I'm focusing on my study on things related to Pakistan. So I need to make sure that I'm publishing with a journal which is indexed in the collections that Pakistani researchers has access to. So this is also something very important. Also, you need to consider if it's like paid or open access, which one is better for me. Open access is somehow because it's open, more people will go and access this journal. So maybe it is really important, especially at the beginning. I will talk about open access in more details in just like a few minutes. Publishing frequency. If I want to also increase the chance for the people to read my article, I need to publish with a journal which is their publish frequency is high, not only once a year or twice a year. Maybe I want to go to a journal where it's published like quarterly or every month or every 2 months, etc. Also, acceptance rate. It is very important that when you start searching for a journal to check the acceptance rate. Just to give you an example, BMJ or Nature, the acceptance rate for them is around 4 or 5% only. So they will reject 95% of the work submitted to them. So if I want to start my publishing career, I need to avoid those like with low acceptance rate, because when I submit, even my paper is really great, but their acceptance rate is low. So they will affect me, I will be like really bad or sad. So avoid those with low acceptance rate. I'll try to go and target the one with really reasonable kind of acceptance rate. So those are some of the factors and you can consider when selecting your journal. I spoke about open access. I spoke about journals in general. So let's now talk about how is the publication frequency, how the workflow of the journal publication is doing. So just to introduce this, imagine that this is you. You are now, you wrote your paper and manuscript is ready. You want to submit it to your journal, okay? The journal, they have their, editorial team to screen the journal just to make sure that it is following their scope, it is following their guidance, etc. So after the general kind of screening, if like your manuscript is different than our scope or it's not following our guideline, they will just like send you a rejection letter that, sorry, we cannot accept your paper. If yes, and let's assume that this journal is a peer-reviewed journal. What is peer-reviewed? Peer-reviewed is basically before accepting your paper and publishing it, we will send it to some expert people in your field, okay, peers in similar kind of subject, but they are expert, to read your paper to make sure that this is according to the scientific laws and facts, this is right, everything is looking promising, and they will start doing their homework. They will start reading and screening your work, and then they will send their feedback to the journal itself. The feedback, even it will be like rejection. No, sorry, this is completely wrong and we cannot accept that. So it will be complete rejection. Or it will be like, yes, we accept this paper, but there is some major kind of revisions. A lot of changes must be done in this before accepting it. Or maybe they will accept it with minor changes. They will tell you that you need to change 1, 2, 3 small things you need to change and resubmit again. Or in very rare cases, they will accept it without any kind of comments. This is very, very rare. Most of the time, if they accept your paper, it will be, they will ask for a major or minor kind of revisions. So basically, after submitting their feedback to the journal itself, the journal will speak to you. And let's say that they accepted your paper, but they are asking you to do some kind of revision. They will send you back the manuscript, ask you to do the revisions. Then after doing the revisions, you will send it back to them. Sometimes maybe it will take a second round for peer reviewed, or sometimes no. Then after that, the journal itself will accept or reject your paper. And this is in general how the journal publication workflow is done and how the peer review process is done. So this is just for information to know. And by the way, the ideal time from submission to review feedback is around 3 to 4 months. This is ideal time. This is, I think, sometimes even the speedy time. Sometimes it will take even like 1 or 2 years to finish the peer review process. So you need to make sure also to understand the review process and how many months or years it will take. And you need to consider that when you are targeting your journal and you are sending your paper to them. From our side, by the way, in ProQuest platform, there is an option for peer reviewed. So in this case, when you do any search, you will get the results only from the peer reviewed journals. And maybe then you can filter by journal name and you can see the peer reviewed journals. And maybe you can go and start talking to them and sending your manuscript to them. So this is in general about the peer reviewed and the journal publication workflow. I spoke about open access, right? I told you that this is one of the factors that you need to consider. So what is open access? And is there like any different like models or different types of open access? Okay, so in general, open access is basically publishing in a journal which is open to public. No need to have a subscription to read articles inside this journal. But there is like different kind of models in the open access. The most common one is the what we call the gold open access route. So basically, you will send your paper to a journal which is completely open access, but you need to pay something called article processing charge, APC. This is some money you need to pay to the journal in order for them to take your paper, to read it, to review it, and to accept or reject your paper. After they accept the paper, they will just go immediately and publish it on their platform, on their journal, which is completely open, and people can start reading your article without any issues. This is what we call the gold open access route. Okay. Part of it, some journals, it will be hybrid journals. What do I mean by hybrid journals? A journal which is paid journal, but they have some part of it which is open and free. So when you send your paper to them, you need to pay the article processing charge. After they accept it, they will put it on the open access part of their journal, and it will be available for everyone to access it. This is what we called with the gold open access route, either the full open access journals or the hybrid journals. In all cases, after paying the fees and accepting the paper, your research will be available for everyone to freely see it and read it on the internet. There is another option or another route which is called green open access route. So basically, I will publish my paper, I will send my paper to a subscription journal, which needs subscription to be able to access it. But after they accept my paper, they will give me a copy where I can put it in our like institution repository for people to see. Or they will tell me that basically we will publish your paper today, but after like 6 months or 1 year, it will be available for free for people to see it. If people need to read it now, they need to subscribe, they need to buy or purchase the our journal because it is a subscription-based journal. Okay, so this is what we mean by green open access route, that they will accept your paper, give you a free copy to put it in your institution repository, and the free copy of your work will be available for people after some time, after embargo or delayed time, which the journal will tell you how many months or years it will be. So this is in general about open accessing, publishing my paper in an open access journal or platform, either full open access or hybrid. This is if we are talking about the gold open access route. No, in the green one, we will publish it in subscription-based journal, but it will be available for free for people to read it after some time, and they will give me a free copy to use it only in my institution repository to make it like available for my like colleagues in the university, people inside my university, etc. So this is about the open access publishing. As you can see here from the open access, it's mainly that you will pay, you will pay this article processing charge. So because in this model that we are paying as the authors, some bad people, they actually took the benefit of this paying thing, and they introduced a very bad journals, bad publishers that they will get, and they will take our money and publish our work despite it is good or bad, and they will just like put it available online. And this is what we call predatory publishing or predatory journals. So those are very bad journals. They are not peer reviewed. There is no actual people behind them or group or committee behind them. They will just take your money and they will just publish your work despite if it's good or bad. Unfortunately, this will destroy your reputation. And if the research community, they were like aware that you are publishing with those predatory journals, they will just like, put X on you, and they will stop reading your articles or reading your paper, because they will say that, oh, unfortunately, he's publishing or she's publishing in very bad journals, and it is not a good quality publishers or publishing, so this is bad. So it is very, very important to avoid those predatory journals, okay? How we can know that this is a predatory journal or not? There's like a lot of ways to know. And one of the most common and well-known thing, what we called Bill's list of predatory journals. So Bill's list, they created a list of predatory journals, bad journals, and they have this kind of criteria that they are put to make sure that this is a predatory journal or not. Some of the things that they will check is the rule clarity of the people behind this journal, from where it is publishing. Sometimes the journals, there will be like no place for this journal. Also, it will be like same, like owner of the journal is in the editorial board. So they will use like some kind of spam or junk emails to send emails to people, ask them to just like submit their papers and pay the fees, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, etc. Also, their website will be very bad. It is not well organized. It has a lot of broken links. So they have a lot of things, criterias, to make sure that this is a predatory journal or not. So it is highly recommended that if you were like approached by an open access journal, to make sure that this is not a predatory, go and check the Bill's list to see if this journal is there or not. In general, like there's like few things you can consider when trying to approach the open access journals and to make sure that they are not predatory. First of all, we can check, there is something called Directory of Open Access Journals. It's a huge database of a well-known open access, trusted open access journals. So if you were like, someone approach you from one of those journals, which is inside the Directory of Open Access Journals, this means that yes, this is right. I can publish with it because this is a trusted open access. If also you can check the Bill's list if the journal is not listed there. So yes, this means that it is really a good one. You can also ask your colleagues, of course, if you were approached by a Journal X, you can just ask your colleagues, did you hear about Journal X? They are asking me to pay them like $500 for the, the process. So if they know it, they will tell you their feedback. Yes, this is a well-known open access. Also from our side in ProQuest, we have a database called a publicly available content database. It's a huge database of more than 3,000 open access trusted journals. So if you found that the journal that you are trying to publish with is already there, this means that it is a trusted one, and you can just go and publish with it without any problem. And by the way, this database is already part of you as HEC. You already have it within your ProQuest resources, so you can check there. So this is in general on the predatory journals and how to avoid them. If you remember when I talked to you about how ProQuest can help you pick the right journal, I said that you can do some kind of publication search on ProQuest. So I can go to ProQuest platform, I can do a search on publication search. I can specify that I need to see only the scholarly journals in this subject field, and I can see what are the publications there, the journals, and I can see if this is like really something that I can approach and I can speak to in order to publish with them. Also, you can do advanced search, and you can limit also to scholarly journals and to see what are the names there, and you can take it from there. Don't Don't forget also the Oryx Web, as I told you. Oryx Web is a database. Unfortunately, it's not available for you in HEC, but it is good to know that it is available. It has thousands, more than 300,000 periodicals, okay? And a lot of information about them, about their subject, scope, etc. So maybe it will be like a good addition and a good way to find the right journal for you. So this is, ladies and gentlemen, in very like somehow a quick way on how you can really start your publishing journey. We spoke about defining our topic and reading all the things available for us in order to build the knowledge that we need. Then we spoke about how, after defining our topic and reading the resources, etc., how we can start searching for the right journal for us. And I spoke about the different things, different factors that you can rely on. I spoke about the open access and the paid access, etc., and how we can, as a ProQuest, can help you in your journey. This is the finish of our part 1. Inshallah, next week we will continue our journey. We'll talk about how to write well, how to see the guideline for the journal that we are publishing with, and how we can easily just go revise our work after receiving the feedback from the journal and revise accordingly in order to increase our chances for the paper to get published. All the information that I use, all the references that I used when preparing my presentation will be here. The presentation will be available for you on our LibGuide page, and the recording as well will be shared with you, inshallah, in the coming 2 or 3 days, where you can just come and check the recording and also download and use the presentation. So by this, I can see that I finished officially the part 1 of my presentation, my training, and I would like to see Mr. Rashid, if there's like any question you need me to address. Questions came during the presentation.
Yes, Anas, there is a question from Ms. Saharish Basir. She has asked that, is there a way I can sort a list of journals sorted by APC?
No, actually, there's no like way, because there's a lot of journals. We cannot say that there is one place, it has all the open access journals. No, Director of Open Access Journals, it has a lot of journals, but because, there is a lot of journals, local and international, but at least those will help you. Those will help you. And when you go, like, because you cannot just like take a list of 100 journal and start picking up. You need to do your homework. You need to see like which one is best for you by going to their website, to checking their subject, their scope, all the information, and the article processing fees that they will request. But unfortunately, there is no, according to me, there's no way that I can just like have a list of all the journals with their APCs, unfortunately.
One more question. Hi, Anas, great session. Just 2 things I would like to clarify. On most things that you present, you keep saying you cannot access it. It is just for information. If I cannot use it, what use it is for me?
I'm really sorry about this. What do you mean by you cannot access it? No, yeah, I think the only thing that I told you, because basically this presentation is about providing you the necessary information. It's just like some kind of basic information, introduction information, because as ProQuest, we really need to help and support you. But of course, we cannot provide you with everything, right? What we did is we wrote this presentation, we gave you the necessary information, and we said from our side, because ProQuest is a huge company, and we have a lot of things and a lot of resources, but unfortunately, not all of them are available for HEC. But just like to be more precise and to let you know that we do have some kind of solutions, but unfortunately, some of them are not available. Oryx Web, for example, is not available, but we have the ProQuest platform. We can do this publication search, right? No need to have Oryx Web. Pivot, it's available for, by the way, Pivot, this database is available for HEC management. If you need to access it, just speak to them. Maybe they will give you access. But as I told you, because I cannot tell you that this one, you need to go to it and you don't have access to it, unfortunately. So because of that, I'm telling you the truth that this is what you have. And some of them are available. Some of them are only available for HEC management, but you are more than welcome to go and speak to the HEC management and request access to those databases. Anything else, Mr. Rashid?
Yes,
Rashid, I'm really sorry, I cannot hear you well.
yes, I'm just coming to you back. You can take last question as a suggestion. Okay. Yes. Actually, there were, Anas, can you describe the databases which are available for Pakistani users, which are the paid subscribed database, and also kindly mention the databases which are being provided by ProQuest complementary to the Pakistani users. So people will get to know that which databases they can access within Pakistan.
Okay, great. So basically, I know Mr. Rashid, he already shared the link to our ProQuest resources guide page. This is the one, by the way. This page, we put here all the information about the resources available for HEC at the moment. The link already were shared with you via the chat, proquest.libguides.com/HEC. You can just go to this page, and here you will find all the things that you have access to. You have the ProQuest resources, you have the access links to access them directly from Pakistan. Here also will list the upcoming training sessions. So a regular basis, I do training sessions, so you can access them from here and register for them. Also, the previous sessions, so whenever I do any training session for you, I will record it and I will provide it here, the recording and the slides. So those are the things available for you at the moment. ProQuest Dissertations and Theses Global, this is the largest collection of dissertations and theses in the world. It's already available for you. ProQuest One Business, this is one great collection of business management related kind of research papers, reports, videos, etc. It's also available for you. ProQuest eBook Central, this is a huge collection of ebooks. Unfortunately, at this moment, HEC didn't like renew it yet. Inshallah, it will be renewed soon. But this is also because it was available and now it is not available. So here you can just like get the information about it. RefWorks is our reference management tool. This I already spoke about it last month in our training session, how this will help you write your paper by providing you the technique of writing the references according to the citation style. Pivot is the one about call for papers, grants, research profiles. But again, this is for only for HEC at the moment, management. And Summon is the search engine for all HEC resources. So those are the things available from ProQuest, and you can access them from this link. This is clear?
And many of them are being provided from the ProQuest complementary to the Pakistani users. HEC is only subscribing for the ProQuest Dissertations and Thesis Global, and all the other databases are free of cost for the Pakistani users. Okay, Anas, one more thing. Do we have any system through which any individual can subscribe or get access to our databases? Mr. Malik Muhammad Mansoor is asking for the same. Sir Mansoor, actually, the access which is available at the moment is being provided through the IP authentication. And we have the IP addresses of all the institutions within Pakistan through HEC, and the access which is available, that is only through the IP authentication. So if you want to access any of the available databases, it is a suggestion that you can go to any academic institute and you can access those databases from there. And if there is anything available for the individuals other than the academic institutions people, Anas will brief that. Anas, please.
Yeah, so basically unfortunately for individual people, we don't support individual access. It should be coming from the university itself, because as mentioned by Mr. Rashid, the main authentication way is IP. We do have other authentication way, but it is institutional kind of access, not individual. So I'm really sorry about that. If you need to subscribe to something, you can just speak to your university and they can contact Mr. Rashid. They can contact us and we'll try to provide them the right way. Because at ProQuest, we have actually hundreds of solutions and databases. And of course, like nobody can access them all. But we can build the right collection for you and for institutions, but it should be from the institution directly, not from individual requests.
One more point is raised by a librarian that regarding the e-library.
You can just please, sorry, your voice is not clear.
Okay, is it okay now?
Yes.
Okay. There is one more point by a librarian regarding the e-library. As Anas stated, Mr. Nadeem Nazir, that e-library, the ProQuest eBook Central, was a subscribed database in the past, but since last year, HEC has not renewed this database. So all the Pakistani users who were good users of the e-library, ProQuest eBook Central, are unable to access this database, and we are hopeful, inshallah, soon HEC will go to renew this database, and this huge database, this informative database will be available for you, but not a certain date or time we can tell you at the moment.
Thank you, Rashid.
Thank you very much.
In all cases, I know that there will be like a lot of questions. Mr. Rashid is available. Mr. Rashid, you can even share your details, please, in the chat with everyone to see. This would be lovely. And you can reach us also at any time. You can reach me on my phone number as well on WhatsApp, and I'll be more than happy, inshallah, to help and support. And I know that we will not be able to finish all the questions, everything, but we will do our best really to answer any question that you might send us. We are here to help. We are here to support you. And hopefully you found this useful. We will continue our journey. We'll continue our partnership with you and to support you more. Inshallah, as I mentioned, we will have a lot of training sessions in the coming weeks. So, for example, we have like next week, we have part 2 of this today's session. And next month, we have also how to write a dissertation or thesis. So this is for postgraduate students mainly. So just also some kind of tips on how best to write your dissertation or thesis. Inshallah, this will be next month. You can find all the information about those upcoming training session in our HEC guide page. As I told you, this is for our upcoming training sessions. You can click here and you will find the ones that we have, inshallah, in the coming weeks. So you can register to anyone that you think it is really good for you. So we have the part 2 of today's session next week, and then best practices in writing your dissertation or thesis and how ProQuest can help you, part 1 and part 2. This will be, inshallah, in December. All our sessions will be 12 p.m. your time, so 12 midday in Pakistan local time. And you are more than welcome to attend my future sessions. Inshallah, this session will be the recording and the presentation will be available on this page, inshallah, in the coming 2-3 days maximum. So you can access it. And everyone was part of my today's session will receive a certificate for attending. And inshallah, you found this useful. My last thing before we close and we finish today's session is basically I will send you a link in the chat. This link actually is the evaluation link. So it is already sent on the chat. I really just need your evaluation. What do you think about today's session? So once you click on the link, you just click on continue. It is one simple question. Are you satisfied or not satisfied of today's session? And there is like a way to provide more feedback. I really appreciate your honest feedback here, because based on your feedback, we will do our best to really enhance our training sessions. So I really appreciate your feedback on this. And you can click on this blue arrow in order to submit your answer. Inshallah, even when I close the training session officially, you will see this message again and you can click on the survey link in order to provide your evaluation. So I really appreciate your evaluation, and inshallah you found this training useful. And again, if you have any question, anything, just feel free to reach me, reach Mr. Rashid, and we'll be more than happy to provide help and support to you and to Pakistani researchers in general. Let me just stop the recording now.